Coming up, a truck with no driver plows into a home in Rockcastle County this weekend. We'll have more on what happened. Two Good Samaritans sprang into action to save a man from a scary situation in Harlan County. And Governor Jim Justice declares a state of emergency in several West Virginia counties after weekend flooding.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning. It is 6:02 on Monday, July the 1st. I'm Will Puckett. Thanks for tuning in to Mountain News. This morning, well, June certainly went out soggy as it came in and as it extended to be wet. Hopefully July will start off on a much drier note, but Brandon's shaking his head over in the Weather Center, so I think that doesn't hold true. Brandon?
Yeah, exactly, and I do think we'll see maybe a drier day today, but I do think we'll see those rain chances continue in scattered form throughout most of the week. It's a holiday week for a lot of folks. Let's take a look this morning. We take a look at the UVA-wise cam over in Southwest Virginia. The fog's starting to build in there this morning. Over Buffalo Mountain, well, it came in over there too, so it's high, it's low, it's everywhere this morning. Zero visibility in Prestonsburg, close to it in a big chunk of the region this morning, so please be extra careful as you head out and about this morning. 60s and close to 70, 64 Wise and 70 in Logan. That's your range this morning. So be a good day for some ice cream, but if you don't eat it fast, it's going to melt on you. So 87 is your forecast high. The latest on the forecast coming up here in just a few minutes. Will?
I'm digging the ice cream melting forecast. I can get behind that, Brandon. Thank you. Well, a truck barrels into a Rockcastle County home and authorities say no one was driving. It happened Saturday in Brodhead. The truck left a huge hole in the home and damaged the inside. The homeowner was inside when it happened. Matthew Rand talks to family members about the crash.
It was really scary that it happened so fast.
These pictures show a home turned upside down, the runaway truck going all the way through and coming to rest on the front porch.
He actually thought he got struck by lightning.
That's right, the man who lives here was home when it all happened.
He was in his recliner watching TV when the truck hit.
That's Shannon Bishop's Uncle Jack right after the crash, fortunately alive and well.
I mean, it is lucky. I mean, he was just a few feet from something bad happening to him. I mean, you know, he could have been killed. Somebody's looking after him.
It sounded like a freight train actually coming through. We turned and looked. Next thing we know, the truck was already through the field.
Before the truck hit the house, it took out two of Gina Johnson's fences.
We have a cow and her baby, not so much baby anymore in there. Thankfully, they weren't hit, and thank God nobody else got hit.
She says her neighbor who owns the truck still isn't sure how it happened.
He said he was unloading the little Kubota, and as soon as he dispatched the trailer, it just took off on him.
Bishop sends a big shout out to the Brodhead Fire Department, who went the extra mile making sure the house was shored up and stable.
They stayed for 3 hours after it was over to fix his fence back, to make sure and tarp his house. They're unreal.
Leaving neighbors to ponder how so much damage could happen in an instant.
You know, it makes you just think, wow, can be here one second, gone the next. We were just really thankful nobody got hurt.
Reporting in Rockcastle County, Matthew Rand, WKYT.
Now, family members say both the home and the truck are insured. The man who lives there is staying in a motel for the time being. Well, 10 people are dead after an airplane crashed into a hangar at a Texas airport. The cell phone video shows smoke billowing outside of an aircraft hangar in Addison, Texas, moments after a twin-engine plane experienced some sort of failure during takeoff. Officials say as the plane left the ground, it veered left sharply, crashing into the structure and bursting into flames. 8 passengers and 2 crew members were on board the plane, which was bound for St. Petersburg, Florida. No one survived.
We don't know a lot about the people on board at this point. I think the next of kin is just in the process of being notified.
No one was inside the hangar during the time of the crash, but 2 other aircrafts were damaged. The NTSB is still looking into what caused the crash. In local news this morning, a Logan County firefighter died after colliding with a tractor trailer in a side-by-side Saturday night. Deputies say the victim was Ernie Woods. The crash happened on Route 44 near Wilkinson. Troopers say the side-by-side lost control and swerved into the opposing lane, causing a collision with the tractor trailer. Well, family, friends, and fellow officers gathered in Milwaukee this weekend to pay tribute to one of their own killed in a crash. MPD officer Kuer died in a car crash on his way home from work last week. Prosecutors say the driver that hit him blew through a red light after drinking all day. A public funeral service will take place later this morning. A relaxing evening at Martins Fork Lake in Harlan County quickly turned into a scare. While a man was swimming on Friday, two people saw him begin to struggle and yell for help. That's when they jumped into action. In the meantime, others called 911. The two men were able to get the man out of the water and to safety before paramedics arrived.
And my fiance started hearing help, and she was like, but I don't know if they're joking. And then we stood up, and then we realized that someone was really in trouble. So I ran from here all the way to the middle, right around here.
The victim was taken to a nearby hospital. He is expected to be okay. Dispatchers say a man was trying to cross Laurel Lake when water was released from the dam. The man was walking across some rocks when the siren sounded at the Laurel River Dam yesterday afternoon. The man went missing and someone called 911. After a short search, emergency officials found the man. Dispatchers say he is expected to be okay. Well, police in northern Kentucky say an 11-year-old autistic boy has died after being found submerged in a neighbor's pool. Deputies say Maduba's death is believed to be an accidental drowning. The statement says the boy was found unconscious in a pool Saturday in Florence and was later pronounced dead at a hospital. Police say the boy apparently scaled a fence and took off his shirt prior to entering the neighbor's backyard. Well, a mother is in custody in Central California charged with murder and attempted murder after being accused of attacking her two sons. Investigators say alert neighbors and the children's grandmother spotted the two boys, aged 12 and 7, floating in an irrigation ditch on Saturday morning. The group got them out of the water quickly, started CPR and called 911, but it was too late for one of them.
Unfortunately, the 12-year-old was declared deceased.
The 7-year-old was flown to a nearby hospital and is in critical condition. Police arrested 45-year-old Sherry Telnis. We are told this is not the first time she had tried to kill the two boys by drowning them. A New York man could face life in prison after being convicted for murdering his father. It happened back in 2015 when Thomas Gilbert Jr. shot the elder Gilbert in the head, killing him. The 30-year-old was unemployed and living at home at the time. Prosecutors say his father cut his allowance from $1,000 a week to $300 just a few hours before. His attorneys argued insanity, but the jury disagreed. Gilbert is scheduled to be sentenced in August. In regional news this morning, Governor Jim Justice has declared a state of emergency for 4 West Virginia counties following weekend flooding. The formal declaration for Grant, Pendleton, Tucker, and Randolph counties will be filed later today. Heavy rain stalled out over the area the last couple of days, leading to flash flooding. The governor said more counties could be added later. 33 cows are safe at home this morning after they were swept away by floodwaters in Minnesota Friday. The flooding caused the Zumbero River in the community of Byron to flood, taking the animals with it. The family who owns the cows say another 21 are still missing, but hope to find them soon. Europe is burning up as a brutal heat wave spreads across the continent. At least 7 people have died as the mercury pushes into triple digits again. CBS's Roxana Saberi is in Lyon, France.
Germany is sizzling, with about a quarter of the country hovering around 100 degrees. And in Spain, triple-digit temperatures are contributing to the country's worst wildfire in 20 years. Europe has been sweltering for days as a heat wave moves across the continent. Several countries have set new June records, including a high of 115 degrees in France on Friday, surpassing the old monthly record by 3 degrees. The country is still haunted by a heat wave in 2003 that led to the deaths of an estimated 15,000 people. Officials say this time they're prepared, setting aside places for people to cool off and checking on the elderly.
Ça vous fait du bien?
Ariel Vale is a mayor of a Paris district.
We work all year long. We have social services. We have maps of those people. We start calling them. We roll call them, check that they're fine.
At the height of the heat last week, Parisians and tourists had to find ways to adapt.
Go out early in the morning, later at night.
So you're strategizing well.
We're strategizing. We're using our Arizona strategies in a new location.
Weather experts say heat waves like this are becoming more intense and common. Mark Maslin is a climatologist at University College London.
We know that these sort of heat waves are now twice as likely to occur than they were, say, 20 years ago. And what's worrying is with climate change, the frequency is going to increase in the future.
The World Meteorological Organization says this year is on track to be one of the hottest in history, and that this heat wave is consistent with greenhouse gas emissions. Here in France, relief is in the forecast for now. Roxana Saberi, CBS News, Lyon, France.
Forecast this morning could be summed up in a word: fog. Let's take a look at I-64 Moorhead this morning. Now, not that so much up that way, but we see some other locations this morning, fog starting to build in across the region. US 119 up on top of Whitesburg Pine Mountain there. You're starting to see it there in waves as we head through the first part of your day. Lots of areas near zero visibility. Pikeville down to 1 mile at this point. We'll show you that camera here in Maine weather in just a couple of minutes, but we're looking at temperatures anywhere between 64 in Wise to 70 in Logan. Most folks in the mid to upper 60s this morning. So it's a few degrees cooler in some spots than it was this time yesterday, a few degrees warmer, and in some spots just exactly where it was yesterday. 87 this afternoon, a stray chance for a passing shower. Fog gives way to mostly sunny skies. Will?
All righty, Brandon, thank you. And thank you for joining us on Mountain News this morning. More news is on the way. A little girl from Texas celebrates her 7th birthday in Las Vegas. We will tell you what made her party so special. And later, a heartwarming story about an organ donor and the difference their sacrifice made for one family.